welcome to Found, a conversation at the intersection of Christian faith and culture, where we always aim to find Jesus in the way we react and respond to our world. Found is a part of the Saddleback family of podcasts. My name is Linda Tokar, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Brandon Bathauer. Hey, Brandon.
What's up, Linda?
Not too much, just enjoying the summer. It's a little bit cooler today, but...
It's been nice and cloudy a little bit near our house. It's been really lovely.
Yeah, I feel like we finally got June gloom in August.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. We can just open the windows a little bit more, yes. The AC, turn it off a little bit.
I got my electric bill. We need to turn off the AC.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying.
That's for sure. July's electric bill was like, okay. It's time to open the windows again and turn on the fans. Well, hey, we wanted to, this is not going to be a normal episode of Found. We basically release an episode every month, and we haven't released one yet. So if you were looking and saying, when is the next episode of Found coming out? What's going on? We wanted to reach out to y'all, to our community, at least once this month to just fill you in on kind of where we are and where we're planning on going in the months ahead. It's some really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, so August has been nuts. Honestly, our team, I think most of us got COVID.
Yes, we all tried it.
Yeah,
0 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. In case you're wondering.
That's about right. Yeah. Jason on our team had their little one.
Yeah.
And that's so lovely. So anyway, so much stuff has been going on. Summer, school starting up, all that, vacations. So that is why we thought, okay, we're going to take a little break.
Yeah.
And because breaks are good, and think through what we're going to be doing in the season ahead.
And I'm excited about what we're doing in the season ahead.
Yeah. And before we get there, just wanted to say again, thank you so much for listening. It has been a blast. This is now our 5th episode. Mm-hmm. And we started with what? We talked about truth was our first one. Quite the way to start.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Start with something easy.
And then went into the world is broken.
Right.
How do we fix it? Well, what's going on with our involvement with this broken world?
And freedom.
Freedom was huge.
Fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of excitement around that episode. And then we just, last month was the 3 stories of work.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, it's been so cool watching this kind of community form around this podcast. It's been really cool.
And the discussions that we get to have in the hallway of just people stopping us, and it's like, hey, I listened, and then they have a question or they have feedback, or it's like, hey, you guys should talk about this. So.
Yes. I mean, this is what's cool is we're all in this culture.
Right.
We're all being shaped by these streams that we're swimming in. And so everybody's got a thought about it. And that's been really cool. It's really bred a lot of good discussion. For me, after services or before services on the patio, I don't know how people recognize me because this is an audio podcast, but maybe they see our name tags or something. And anyway, that's just been a blast. It's been cool. What are we going to call this community that we're all a part of? Foundites, cultural discerners. What is this? I don't know.
I don't know. Suggestions welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been so cool. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community that we're forming. Even emails that you send in or comments on YouTube.
Yeah, we love hearing from you. I mean, seriously, we love when you post a comment or nice ones. You know?
Yeah, even the mean ones, even ones where you're disagreeing or whatever.
Yeah, no, disagreeing is fine.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards, right? Is how to have conversation around these things.
Right.
So,
and we're not always going to agree. Yeah. That's the point.
Exactly. So anyway, it's been a blast. Thank you. Thank you for your support and for engaging. It's been a fun ride these 4 months so far. So what is coming up? What are we going to be diving into in the months ahead?
Yes, Brandon, tell us. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things we've been thinking through is, everything we do, we want to focus it on how we can become more and more like Jesus.
Right. Absolutely.
There's our hidden agenda, everyone. We want to become more like this man who lived in Israel 2,000 years ago, this God man who showed us the way to be truly human. We want to be more and more like him. And, as we were reading through the Gospels, the first 4 books of the New Testament that tell the story of Jesus, you realize how how well versed he was with the culture that he was a part of. This strange moment in time where you had this Greek influence and then this Roman governmental rule over this traditional Jewish culture. And the way he navigated it was just amazing.
Absolutely.
And he did it out of love for people. And so we're trying to say, hey, let's raise our ability to be cultural discerners of what's going on in our culture, the cultural streams we're swimming in. And so if our end goal is to be more like Jesus, we were like, okay, where else can we point this skill of cultural discernment in our following of Jesus? And one of the thoughts that, as Linda and I were talking, was, well, the fruit of the Spirit is such an amazing list of these powerful words and concepts that really summarize the type of person that walks in line with the Spirit.
Exactly.
Jesus being the perfect example.
Yeah, like Jesus being like example A.
Yeah, the model of what it means to walk in the Spirit. And so we have these amazing concepts like love and patience and faithfulness and peace and joy. And as we were thinking through these words, we realized that, man, these words have been so shaped by so many other voices besides Jesus' voice, the culture of Jesus. As we were prepping for this little discussion, we used the word cultural. They've been culturally appropriated.
Right, by our culture to make them less offensive, more comfortable for everybody, but they no longer represent what they were actually intended to be, what God had in mind when it says the fruit of the Spirit is, and it says love and joy and peace and goes through that list. What our culture thinks of those things is radically departed from the original intention. In fact, we're talking about becoming like Jesus, who our culture thinks Jesus is actually a radical departure from who he really was. I think the best example of that is the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus that a lot of us grew up in Sunday school. It encapsulates what has happened to everything about Jesus, not just who he was culturally, a Middle Eastern man, but in terms of everything about him has been softened and made palatable to us so that it's like, oh, of course, this is lovely. Love, joy, peace. We don't really understand even any of those things because they've been so culturally shaped, appropriated, changed, modified.
Yeah, and when we say culture, we're talking, we really should say cultures, right? Because even in the religiosity world, we've taken this person of Jesus, and over time, that Jesus has been really changed into something different. It's in our churches that I saw blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. And then, then there's mainstream culture, this non-Christian, in certain areas, anti-Christian culture where, I've seen this online now of woke Jesus and all these different ways that we've taken Jesus and our picture of Jesus, when we think of Jesus, this one we are meant to follow and reflect, when that image has been manipulated, changed, bent, sometimes broken, the practice of cultural discernment to say, okay, let's again be more shaped by Jesus' culture than these other cultures we're a part of, and be aware of the ways that the cultures we're a part of have shaped this view. Well, then we get more clarity on what it is that we're striving after, what it is we're praying towards. And so in the months ahead, we're going to take the next 3 months and just do the first 3 of the fruit of the Spirit. So next month we're gonna be recording this in just about a week or so. Is love. When we think about what it means that Jesus is loving and that we ought to be loving, how much has that word love been culturally appropriated? How much has it been shaped and molded, again, bent, broken? And how can we then, in some ways, reclaim that word and see again when Jesus talked about love, what was he talking about? And then we'll do the same thing with joy the following month, and then peace the next month in would that be, like November? And then I think we'll take a month to do some listener questions and that type of thing. And then we'll dive into some other stuff. But just wanted to give you an update on kind of what's coming up to prep all of the, prep your thoughts and your questions and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And Brandon mentioned questions, but we can't answer them if you don't ask them. So please, when you listen, if you have questions, please, the best way, Brandon, what is the best way?
Yeah, I mean, you can just reach out to maturity at saddleback.com.
Our regular email.
So that's MATURITY. Did I spell that right?
Yes, you
maturity at saddleback.com. On YouTube, on any of the episodes, you can simply just go ahead and write a question right in there.
Yeah, we can see that. We'll comment.
Yeah, exactly.
Get back to you.
And then, man, we would love on the podcast thing for more people to hear about this. You can share it. Rate us on iTunes and all that stuff. Like, please give some comments so people get a sense of what this podcast actually is.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do with it. And then one more thing that we're really trying to do here, as we're kind of forming a community around these types of cultural discernment conversations, we need some way to be able to communicate with you besides just this. And so one of the things we've realized is that as we are building out each of these episodes, we have so much research.
Oh, my word.
We've got a think tank, honestly, that we meet once a month of a bunch of like the best thinkers on staff here and members here at Saddleback Church. And we gather together in this room around these whiteboard tables and we just go at it.
Glorious.
Yes. And all these different resources. And so we want to give you those resources. So if you're like, oh, man, that was an interesting conversation around work. Man, we've got articles on articles. We got resources. We've got YouTube videos. We have books that we can suggest. But in our podcast, we can't put all that stuff in there.
Right.
So every month, what we're going to do now is we're going to create a document with all of the resources, a bunch of going deeper stuff for you. Some of them will be 5-minute YouTubes. Some of them will be 300-page books.
Yeah.
But we'll make it where it's just a link. You can just click on it. But the way we can get that to you is for you to shoot us your email, to be, like an email subscriber to our newsletter. And what we'll do is once a month, we'll just shoot out just that. Hey, here's this resource. We're not going to spam you with a bunch of other stuff. So how do you get there?
Yes, tell us.
Yeah, thanks, Linda. Go to saddleback.com/found, and right there, you'll see a little form that says email subscriber list. And you can just click right there, give us your email, and we'll reach out to you about that. With each of those resources every month. And then we're planning possibly down the road some type of live gathering where we'll bring in some great thinkers around a topic or a set of topics and meet around some tables and have some really cool live discussions. But again, you'll only get the invite for that if you can sign up so we can send it to you. So those are some things.
Well, these are exciting things. Friends, I hope that this has just given you a glimpse into what is coming. We're so grateful for you and to be able to have this opportunity to do this podcast. So we just look forward to these upcoming episodes, and we love you, and we can't wait for this next episode to drop in September.